Do we have any sense here of what prompted this decision by Trump to make this move, and does it really derail the process?
Right. So the president just tweeted that he was frustrated with Nancy Pelosi and doesn't believe that she was negotiating in good faith. He was frustrated over some of the sticky points in the negotiation. But I have to say, it is somewhat of a surprise to see the president order the Republicans to stop negotiating over a new package of stimulus. I'll point out two things. One is that these negotiations had begun to pick up some momentum in recent days, with Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin on the phone almost constantly with Speaker Nancy Pelosi. And two, you have Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell warning just this morning that the economy is in for a tough ride if they don't get more stimulus. And you would think the president would want to jolt the economy with just under a month left before Election Day, but apparently he didn't take that warning very seriously.
And indeed, he was tweeting from hospital that he wanted to see fiscal stimulus done, that he was calling for it. So this is quite an about turn. Do you think that this is playing hardball in some respect? He talks particularly specifically about Nancy Pelosi asking for $2.4 trillion of bailout. Is the sticking point for him the fact that the numbers are just so far out of whack from each other in terms of the Republicans wanting to offer only 1.6?
It's certainly possible, but I'll point out that the president hasn't really developed a reputation as a deficit hawk. So it's hard to understand why he's balking at the price tag. I mean, the tax cut he enacted itself was a huge blow to the deficit. And again, these are warnings that were, I think Republicans were balking at the price tag, but I think some of us in Washington expected the president to go in the opposite direction and push Republicans to go for a big deal, given it's so close to Election Day. And now you have him not only apparently derailing the talks for now, but I mean, really now, as far as the Washington blame game goes, the fact that he's pulling the plug on talks, the Democrats could say, well, look, he's the one who derailed this. It's not our fault that we're not getting any stimulus.
Jordan, the airline index is now off about 2%. And last Friday, the airlines were talking about announcing some layoffs. And Nancy Pelosi had come out and said, hold off, stimulus is imminent, and really trying to make sure that people aren't permanently laid off. So my question to you is, what does this now mean? If you can give us a little bit of an indication of jobs that now might be lost. And I'm just going to throw this out there. Is this a negotiating tactic?
Yeah, I mean, it's just happened, so it's hard to divine the president's motivations right now. I mean, we know this is in his playbook of negotiating tactics, so I wouldn't rule it out that him walking away, maybe he thinks that Pelosi will try to chase him down to get back to the table. But as you mentioned, the stakes are high, and there's really not a whole lot of time to get this done. The airlines were warning just last week that tens of thousands of workers could be furloughed across the major airlines like United and American if they don't get immediate relief. So the longer this drags out, the more likely it seems that those layoffs or furloughs are going to actually happen and people are going to lose their jobs.
Yeah, I mean, the electoral impact one has to think through. I'm interested in really the reaction that continues to unfold, of course, to him exiting the hospital. There's been, of course, plenty of concern about the way in which he's been able to come back to the White House, and the worry about yet furthermore of his team, those inside the White House, have been succumbing to COVID-19. How is this currently being related to, and how should we be therefore absorbing this sort of news when he's busy on Twitter?
It's a great question, and I'll point out that the president came back to the hospital, I think, earlier than a lot of people expected. The first, when he got there, the doctor said he could be up there for up to 5 days. He came back on day 3. So, and he's being treated with a pretty aggressive regimen of treatments right now, including a powerful steroid that is used in a lot of cancer patients. It has some side effects. So there are questions about the president's well-being right now. I mean, the presidential physician released a statement earlier today saying he's in good health, that he's reporting those symptoms, but we still haven't seen the president all today. And so as far as evaluating how he's doing with our own 2 eyes, it's been a bit difficult today.